like your Father Vine character, by the way. I was envisioning how he would look, and in my head, he looks awesome.
Yeah. I picture him with one of those not quite a sombrero, but like a pilgrim hat type of like
a padre hat?
Yeah, like a padre hat. There you go.
Yeah. I almost imagine his armor looking very StarCraft-esque kind of looking.
Yeah.
With like elaborate etchings and stuff like that, and very angelic, you know.
The picture I have of him doesn't quite represent what I see in my mind, but we must work with what we can find.
You know, and I just imagine him having like small braids under his chin, with the hair coming down, and little reading glasses when he goes to read something. He's got the little glasses that he fits right on his nose. Because I imagine him being an older fella.
He is, but the strange thing about Wolfens, I think, or at least in my world, because I don't want to speak too much for refs, is like dogs, it's a lot harder for us to tell when they're older as opposed to humans because we're used to seeing.
Oh yeah, they get a little gray around their muzzle and whatnot, but otherwise, yeah.
I'm sure
cats
probably
are
other dogs.
Fucking Lena, Kranus cat, fucking 15 years old, surprised a kitten.
Yeah, Logan's 13 and he looks like he's 5. God, wow. Actually, it's kind of sad because I don't think about it much, and then I'm like, oh my god, Kitty, you're old.
That's an old
Kitty,
baby.
Old.
Yeah, one of my old cats made it to 18. I mean,
yeah, that's a good age.
But she looked it though. I mean, she was not gracefully old there.
Oh, I see.
She was a Persian. It was basically when my mom was like in her early 20s. She got him. I mean, she got her, and she was a Persian. I saw pictures of her, little cute little cat and stuff, and then I saw her, and I'm just like, whoa, you've come a long way. But yeah, I definitely see like a lot of gray streaks in his hair, even for a wolfen. You know, I'm saying a lot of white streaks going through the hair and through the back of the mane.
Nah. He's pretty young looking for an old timer.
Or is this
He's aged well?
Or am I envisioning Paw? I don't know who it is.
Paw's not that old. He's maybe, 40s. He's old enough to know better, too young to care. That doesn't fit that at all. Paw is what we would call latter middle-aged.
Yeah. I like to think that most DBs would have, a normal human lifespan to a degree. I hate to see things that are just like die in like 20 years, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Solarians.
Yeah. Actually, I think they live like 40 or 50 years and then they dead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think Morden was like in his 40s.
Yeah.
See, but I like it that way. I actually really like that Solarians had a short lifespan because you always think of races that have longer lifespans, but there are very few races in fantasy and sci-fi that are known to have short lifespans. Right?
It's true, and I think I think
like people always just assume living a human lifespan is as short as you can be, when really we're, with the exception of like fucking turtles and a few other things, we're one of the more longer-lived species on this planet.
Yeah, true, and they balanced it well. Like Solarians live a lot shorter, but they also sleep 1 hour a night, so they don't spend a third of their life asleep.
Just to let you know, we've been live for the past 4 minutes. And
oh, hello.
Just saying.
Sorry, it's taking me a little bit longer to make the tokens. I had to find my actual token program.
It's fine. I'm having a snack.
We're good. And I don't know. Does anyone else? Well, I don't know if anyone else uses the token tool, but I have problems with the token tool.
I use it all the time.
Do you ever have issues with the ring not cutting off the background?
No.
I get that sometimes. Like, because, it's supposed to basically anything outside the circle just isn't there.
Uh-huh.
Once in a while, it will save it as like a square outside of the circle.
Oh, I've noticed. Have you updated Java recently? It runs on Java.
I think I did a little while ago, and it hasn't been doing it today. So maybe there's a connection.
Yeah, maybe.
But I used to have that problem all the time in 13th Galaxy. I mean, yes, you heard me.
I did. Didn't sound right at all.
13th Galaxy. That's what happens after you fight a Zeal.
Oh my god. There's 10 more galaxies after this one, guys.
You gotta go back and free all the places he's conquered before.
Yeah, that's not happening.
No. Even as a GM.
What is there to even free? They're all dead.
It turns out to be very easy because it's just like a barren wasteland with like one guy that you free.
Yeah.
Like, woohoo!
Or no one there, you just yell out into the wasteland, "You're free!" And then you just move on to the next.
It takes like one session. Hello. Okay. Well, we're done. We're back. All right. Huh, that's weird. That shows up as that kind of icon, but that's fine. Oh, whoops. Because I stopped paying them, I no longer have the ability to upload as much as I have uploaded. My library.
Time to delete some old stuff.
Yep. Indeed.
Then I guess we wait to look at the tokens later.
Yeah, we can just start and I'll delete some stuff in the background because especially since, you guys still kind of have to come to a consensus on what you want to do.
It's generally true.
Good point.
So you guys go ahead and talk amongst yourselves.
You're not gonna set the scene for us? Okay.
Yes.
Well,
And
see, here's
we're
the thing.
here.
Here's the thing.
That's my job.
I think, along with setting the scene, what should happen is Inferno should be given the chance to react to all of this information from
Sure.
Simmons, unless you don't want to.
No, it's not that. I really appreciate you giving me the chance. It's just that it's going to be kind of weird. Like, my reaction should have happened in the moment, but I missed it. You know what I mean? So I've already had my actual reactions as a player listening to it. And so I'm going to just transpose that as my character's future discussion. You know what I mean? Like, because there's a lot of revelations there, and it'll be weird for the next 5 minutes. And and when Xavier heard this, he said that. You know what I mean? Like, it's a weird place
true.
and time. So we'll just continue forward with Xavier knowing everything that fucking happened and opinionated about it.
Well, how about this? How about a small narrative summary? Just what are your thoughts? What were your thoughts and stuff like that? Just run down a little list for what I'm saying. Just really got
No. He can just do it in session like he said. That's fine.
Oh, okay. Because if we were there, I would have liked to have known what he thought. But okay.
Sure, I understand that, but that's what I get for not being there, right? So there you go.
Well, we can blame your internet company for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True, but it looks like everything's been resolved now. Things have been a lot more stable in recently.
Oh, good,
There's no issues when we played Rifts on Sunday, right?
I don't think so.
No, we would have said it. Yeah, and it even went past that, past around it was the 9:30, 10 o'clock period where I typically had those lag spikes and they didn't happen. So it looks like things are resolved.
Woohoo!
Good. I'll keep my fingers crossed.
Indeed.
Sure.
Okay, so at the moment, you guys, we ended the session. You guys are on the 10th floor of Center, the very bottom secret level. And I will stress before, because it is a bit weird, because the 9th level is only about 20 feet high. The 10th level, when you got down there, had 40 feet from the ceiling to the floor, and the ceiling has gradually it's not that the ceiling has risen, but the ground that you're on has gradually lowered so that the roof actually stretches out above your sources of light. The hallways are very dark and made almost as if of that darkish black alloy. It's very clean is the word that comes to mind. Not a lot of dust or grit on the ground here. Very narrow passageways, almost maze-like. And you'd been traveling down them for a good half hour or so when you came across...
Everything happened.
Yeah. You
The
came across
revelations happened.
a not vampiric or dead indigo who seemed very pissed off at Magnolia. You guys very quickly find out that the Corsairs, at least the Corsairs that are not with you in this death trap, have betrayed you and sold you out to the Splagorth, who are, for obvious reasons, looking for you, and have used you to steal the priceless orb and make off with it on their ship to God knows where. And in order to ensure that you don't come back to bite them in the butt, they have not only sent the Splagorth towards you, but they have trapped you into a pit full of vampires and paid off the mercenary group that you hired to shut you down inside. And as we were ending, the current state of things is you still have radio contact with Hart and Sarah. In fact, you had told Hart to move the ship, and she was, while she's not a pilot, she was fusing with the ship to move it to some undecided location, while Sarah was attempting to download the very jumbled and vast amount of blueprints for the level 10. And that is about where we ended.
But are we at level 10 or are we at level 9? We're at level 10, right?
We're at level 10.
That's
Yeah,
what I
you're
thought.
right.
So she's trying to give us a better idea of possible escape routes. Okay.
Yeah.
Correct.
So,
and you mentioned that Hart was not a pilot, but she's moving the ship?
She's fusing with it.
Oh,
like mentally.
yeah, with telemechanics. So she's going to try and move the ship.
Yeah, it's not actually telemechanics. It's a much more advanced thing. But yes, she is fusing
She has
with the ship.
powers.
She has powers. She is attempting to move the ship. Basically, the group, since you're kind of in a hurry and things are going hectic, it was basically move it from there. Was the agreed upon thing at the moment.
Okay.
All right. So Xavier, a few moments after all this is happening, through gritted teeth, says, "I don't know about you, but I see the only option that has the least amount of possibility of killing us. The vampires cannot be rationalized with. They will kill us. The Splagorth cannot be rationalized with. Not after what we've done. They will kill us. But the mercenaries fight on pay. And the mercenaries want their lives. If we're going to negotiate for them to let us pass, it is going to be them. I don't see any route in which we don't come across against something that's going to want to fight us. So, I think we go to the mercs, we pay them as much as they fucking want. And that, and the fact that they're going to get rich without them having to worry about losing their lives when we fight like hell, I think they'll see the rationality behind it. Besides, Xavier says, I have a bit of a trick up my sleeve too, in case they really want to protest.
All right. We can do that.
Nod.
Just keep it in your mind that if we actually have to fight them, we don't have the right armaments for them.
If we have to fight them, we don't have the right armaments for practically anyone. Those vampires kicked our asses before. And sure, we got a few more... He pauses for a moment as he looks over to the priest and Indigo and the 5 zealots in silence and says, well, they're probably the equivalent to the Corsairs when they came down in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a tough go, either way. My argument is for the only side that we can actually reason with.
Then let's try it.
Okay.
That's a pretty good idea. I'm gonna throw a curveball.
Great. Wonderful. We haven't got enough curveballs, Lucas, but all right, go ahead.
Hear me out now.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of vampires seem to bite first and ask questions later, but there was that little girl that we talked to before in that one town. She seemed to want to talk. We do find probably the leader. I mean, could have a conversation with them. Her.
But what could we offer them? They won't give a shit about money.
Ooh, bodies. You remember those mercenaries that are up there? We can tell them position and actually get them the advantageous kind of attack. I mean, they're all just standing in one spot.
Yeah, but they're vampire hunters too.
Yeah, but they were going to kill us.
Yeah.
Maybe not a horde of vampires.
We could maybe slip away in the confusion.
Maybe they're not equipped for vamps?
Maybe not fully equipped. I mean, they did have... I don't think they would be fully stocked in what we have. Because they were trying to kill us.
Cyber 6 actually says bitterly, they may not be equipped at all. Remember who hired them, or who found them. And they happen to know all about vampires when I haven't met anyone beyond you that knows anything about them.
Are you saying they're frauds?
It's possible that it sounds like Simmons to offer up a very tempting mercenary band so that you pick the one he wants.
And Simmons, after I taught him everything, could have just passed that information along.
Of course. If I find him, I'm gonna find those papers and jam them down his throat. Okay. So we have two risky ideas. The pros and cons of each are pretty clear. One, the mercenaries can be rationalized with a lot easier, but if we have to fight them, they might be better equipped than we are. The other option is that we could negotiate with this vampire leaders, this girl master, whatever you want to call her. But the problem is that they're fucking vampires. And if I still don't see, if I were them, I'd be thinking, why do you want us to fight these guys when we could kill you instead right now?
But we're equipped. As he jostles the 40-pound water bag on his back.
So our negotiation with the mercs is we have a lot of money we can give you. Our negotiation with the vampires is we could hurt you a lot more than they could hurt you.
And probably a larger lunch. I believe we are a much smaller number than they are. If they're looking for food, which, if I remember correctly, they're probably not getting much.
That is actually a very good point.
Well,
and I hate negotiating with vampires, but
can they be negotiated with, Isaac? You know the most about all of them. They're foot soldiers, whatever you call them. They seem pretty single-minded. Give us the honest truth, what you think, Isaac. Our lives probably fucking depend on it.
I haven't really gone up against a master. The only master we did go up against was when the Corsairs saved us. And I have a feeling that this is the master that we fought. I don't know if we can even reason with it. We might just go into the nest and have to fight our way out anyways.
Yeah,
it's risky as hell.
Then my vote is for my plan then. Mercs, we know how to talk with mercs. Monies pay a lot. And I think I can get them in the same bed with us if they really resist. After all, I still have the contract that they signed.
That is true.
I'm sure the Splagorth would love to see that too when they come on by.
What would the Splagorth do with that contract?
They'd think we'd be on the same side. and they'd attack
Oh,
both of us.
yeah. Fair point.
To be honest, they're kind of in a really odd position. And to be more honest, I honestly don't think the mercs actually are going to get any sort of pay. Remember how it's like we put that money in the locker and then after the job is done, they get the money? I'm quite sure the Corsairs kind of GTFO'd and
Took
I'm
it.
not going to get their money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably.
there is that.
So
The only downside is if they're not there anymore.
Isaac, there's a tons of downside, but we need to.
I know.
Time is ticking.
Yes,
We
so
don't have.
talk
We don't
to
have
them.
time to carefully.
Talk to them.
So we're all agreed then.
Yes.
Let's try it.
Okay.
We negotiate.
Jesus
Or we
Christ.
fight.
Oh, wait, no. Xavier wouldn't say Jesus Christ. First of all, Father Vine's there. Second of all,
Yeah.
second of all, Xavier isn't a Christian. He knows a lot of galaxy religions. He doesn't know much, if anything, about Christianity. So,
Dearest, guide me. How about that?
no, dude. Gives a sidelong look at Burn. Okay, well, if I just show up waving a white flag, they're probably gonna shoot me. But this armor has a loudspeaker on it. Maybe we'll talk first out of sight. You know what? It's best that I just go up ahead of you guys at least 100, 200 feet. That way, if they swarm me, then the rest of you can make it out. But
What?
I hope you guys don't mind if I'm the mouthpiece on all this.
Why don't we just contact them on the radio? Or at least
Do
try.
we have their frequency?
Yeah. We were all talking to them when we were heading in, but they stopped communications right before Simmons had the unveil.
And Xavier's gonna poke at his radio and try to get back onto the same frequency as the mercs, and he's gonna test the line. Any chance any of you bastards are still listening?
There's about 5 seconds of static, and then you hear, "Oh, hello, dear."
Hi. So, you're in a real good place right now, a very advantageous position. So I'm gonna ask the obvious question first, my friend. How much did they pay you?
Oh, why? Is this going to be a I'll double it kind of deal?
Oh, who said anything about doubling? How much did they pay you? Come on. If you're gonna kill us anyway, might as well, let me know. Not like that's gonna hurt.
Oh, but it could hurt me
Why?
because I might not make as much money. I tell
Oh.
you what.
Oh, I
I'm
doubt you've made
not-
any money already. The people that you're working with have a horrible reputation. They've probably already run off without paying you a dime. Have you had a payday already for doing this job?
Believe it or not, he was true to his word and sent the activation code for our locker about 5 minutes ago.
Oh, and have you had anyone check that locker yet to make sure it
Oh,
wasn't empty?
Of course, sweetheart. It's not my first day.
Mm-hmm. Well, then you have a chance to make even more money. So go ahead, tell me. Come on.
No, sweetheart. That's not how this works. I am open to negotiation, of
Great.
course, given that I've heard that there's some nasty people down there looking for you. But
Oh, yeah.
here's the deal.
Hmm?
You make me an offer and make it a really, really good one.
Great.
And if I like it, I'll open the door.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to give you both the sweet and the salt. Are you ready there, honey?
Lay it on me.
So, what do you want first? The sweet part or the saltiness?
Oh, you choose, sweetheart.
Oh, well, the old saying that you can catch more grot flies with sugar than you can with vinegar is true, so I'll leave the sugar for last. See, you're right that there are some nasty people looking after us. Vampires, for one, which I doubt you even actually know how to fight. But more importantly, and what should scare you more than a bunch of weird monsters from another place, is the Splagorth. We've made very bad enemies with the Splagorth, and they're kind of the shoot first, ask questions later type of crowd, and even more so with our reputation. And you see, on my holographic computer, I still have the contract that you signed, saying that you'd assist us down here, that you're a part of our cadre. So when the Splagorth show up, I'm going to tell them I have a bunch more armed men right around the corner. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to find you and they're going to attack you as well. So I and my friends might die to those overlord tyrants, but you will too. So that's the salt. Now, I could just stop with that, but I actually appreciate what you're doing and your position. So here's the sweet. How does 50 million fucking credits sound?
Actually, no, I'm not going to make you roll a convince check on this one. You can if you would like. By all means.
Will it? Honestly,
or-
I'd prefer. I prefer
load of
GM's
bonus.
discretion on
Well,
that.
actually, what I was going to say is I'm still going to give you like experience for attempting to persuade someone. However,
Sure.
um,
But if the modifiers are so high that making a roll redundant, then no big deal.
yeah, you threw 50 million credits at the man.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's like a 20-second pause, and then, sweetheart, I want you to repeat that number one more time, just to make sure I heard right.
That is 50 million with an M. 5, 0, and 6 other zeros that follow it. Credits, galactic credits, nothing else.
Indigo actually looks over to Isaac and says quietly, "What's he playing at? There's no way we can bring that much money."
Yes, we do.
Lucas leans
Dude,
over.
that's gonna leave us with like 6 million.
You know what? I'd rather be alive. I would rather be alive.
Lucas
Would
leans
you?
over and goes, no, we have that much.
Yeah, we have that much. Oh, jeez.
That's just our reserve group funds. It doesn't touch our personal funds.
I know. That's just Isaac in character.
Indigo's eyes widen, and after about 10 more seconds, Rose gets back on the radio and he says, "Well, you do know how to throw a sales pitch. I'll tell you what, sweetheart. You prove that money is real. You deposit it into an account of my choosing. I won't just open the door for you. I will see you safely, shall we say, off the station."
Yep. Deal. It's coming quick. The reception down here isn't the best, but we're going to make our way towards you, and by that time, you'll see exactly what we're talking about. And then after Xavier closes the communications, he looks over to Father Vine and says, "Your religion, do you believe in an afterlife?"
"Of course, my son."
Okay. And can you take money with you to this afterlife?
Vine doesn't respond, but his lips curl up in something that's either a growl or a smile. Kind of hard to tell.
Xavier will pause for a moment, looking up from his wrist computer while he's arranging the transfer between the what's our business called? Black Metal
Black
Works.
Metal Works, yep.
Black Metal Works to the account which I'm assuming the Merc would have provided me.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
He would have transferred you.
So I'm doing that. I'm looking up to the Wolfen priest and say, "Can you take money with you? Material goods, jewels, gems, anything like that?"
No, you
Yeah.
can't.
Exactly. That's what a lot of religions believe in any sort of afterlife, or if there's no afterlife. And he'll look over to Isaac. We can't spend the 50 million if we're dead either, right? So either this way, we at least get to keep breathing. Besides, we made money once before, we can make it again. And now that Silent here is in this situation with us, he'll know that we weren't at least in this betrayal. I'm sure we're not going to be good with Thraxus, not for a good long fucking time, even if we bring the orb to him on a golden goddamn platter in 3 hours. But still, it's better than nothing.
Yeah. You have a good point. I'm sorry for overreacting.
Hey, it's okay. It's a big amount of money, and we worked really hard for it, but we got played. We got played real bad, and this is the only real card we got. Well, other than, unless you guys still want to negotiate with the vampire, Xavier says with a bit of a smirk and a wink.
Lucas kind of goes, half and half.
I like to consider it getting our asses out of a tight spot money.
I'll look over to Cyber 6 and ask, is this fine? Hopefully the Prometheans can get rid of them.
The vampires, you mean?
Yes,
Look,
because we think that
Xavier.
that's...
Yes, Xavier said it though. We can't stop vampires if we're dead. We're not in a position to complete the mission right now, and without your money, I am sorry for the actions of my former crew, but I can tell you this. We get out of this alive. You want payback? I'll do everything I can to bring you with me for it.
Okay.
Good.
Good. Well. So, oh my god, I just realized having Xavier in time travel can be really dangerous. You can think of like so many ideas. Like,
oh god.
Can we go 2,000 years in the past and I open up a bank account and I put one credit there and come back? Like, I'm sure it's against the Corsairs rules, but you better fucking believe Xavier's gonna try and do it.
Oh god.
See what compound interest will do for
he just
2,000 years.
So he hold up. So he does this, gets back to Corsair Command after a mission, and they go, "What the fuck did you do?"
I opened up a savings account. Is that
what?
On one hand, I would assume that Xavier's not the first one to think of it, but on the other hand, you guys have done a lot of stuff most people wouldn't think possible.
Yes.
So...
Oh, crafty motherfucker. Okay. Anyway, let's get out of this now. So, Squee,
yes.
Am I able to, using my holographic computer, because we're still at center, even though we're in level 10, am I able to? First of all, am I able to do as Petal requested, which is transfer the funds from the Black Metal Works to their account? And secondly, if it is possible, how long will it take?
It wouldn't be impossible at all. Much like today, where you can transfer credits over the internet. The bank that you have it deposited in would, of course, require a fee. Lucky for you, it's a flat fee. Or at least it flats out after a certain insane
after a certain $1 million.
It's the transfer fee for their at that rate. You're looking at 25,000 credits.
Oh no! Well, we can't do it now. So 50 million, 25,000. Okay,
I can take care of it. All
right.
And the transfer rate would be pretty much instantaneous. It's like, in the movies where they're sitting there looking at the computer and then suddenly the numbers go. It'd be just like,
oh my god, we're swordfishing it. Yeah. Except this didn't happen in Swordfish. If it did, I'd really watch Swordfish more often. But it was kind of a movie. You got to see Halle Berry's knockers. That was the best part about that movie.
And then I can turn it off. Yeah.
Not about characters or story. Or cinematography.
Sorry, out of character.
Tits.
All right. Yeah, whatever. Anywho. All right. So then, with that evidence, Xavier will look to his companions and to the Crusaders that came with us, and Father Vine and Silent, and says, It's been transferred. Let's see if these people we bought ourselves out of a problem. And let's mosey on towards where the mercs were known last to be.
I should take the lead.
Okay. You start heading that direction. It's about a half-hour walk. And then at some point during the walk, Father Vine would go to Lucas, and he would say, I understand the dire situation we are in, and I think that your friend shows great wisdom in not placing the value of money over life.
Oh,
Lucas
Father
will
Vine.
start giggling.
Good reaction.
He would say, however, now that I have seen the threat down here, we must find a way to stop the evil from spreading.
That is true. You think we can convince, like, one of the circus people to build, like, a giant water park down here?
Father Vine raises an eyebrow.
They hate water.
And
Think about how miffed they would be if a water park was down here.
He shakes his head and says, I do not think that is possible.
Good idea, though, but yeah.
And you walk on for about 15 minutes or so. And as you are walking back the way you came, you hear quickly walking. You hear sounds in front of you. Footsteps. They look like booted. They sound like booted footsteps.
Approximate numbers? A lot, a little, a few?
A few. Not. It's not very loud.
I'll shine my flashlight over there, if that's fine with you guys.
Thermo imaging.
So if it's bad people, we may not want to.
We might want to hide. Xavier's kind of moving to a hiding spot right now.
But if you want to share a flashlight, I'm not gonna stop you. Just want you to know, you fucked us.
Wow. I'm glad you're having so much fun, Piph.
Sorry.
Are these hallways completely square? Are there any grooves or any type of alcoves?
No, the walls are very smooth.
Oh, okay.
Then Xavier presses up against a wall.
Yeah. Pretty much.
It only takes a few seconds before they step into the light that's being shown. I assume you are actually shining a light, right?
Burn didn't say he would
Yes.
stop doing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And it is two figures in body armor. It's hard to tell exactly. From that distance, they're helmeted, but they don't. I can tell you at first they look human. They don't look Splagorth, if that's what you were worried for. But they are fully equipped, clothed in rather basic but sturdy looking body armor, and are holding what look to be some form of energy rifles.
Great.
And when they see the light kind of shined in their faces, you hear a, "Who's that?" Isaac, the voice sounds familiar. It sounds like Kyle,
Who's Kyle?
Who the fuck's Kyle?
your deputy.
Your buddy.
What? What?
Howdy.
Why
The
the
deputy
hell would
back-
he be down here?
I don't know, but if you know him.
Isaac will say over the loudspeaker, "Identify yourself."
There's a pause. Isaac?
Maybe. Who's asking?
Isaac, what are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Okay, and Xavier. He's gonna say, "Okay, listen. Time is a factor here. Whoever you are, do you want to kill us?"
I must obey my master, but no,
Oh,
I do
no.
not want to kill you.
Okay, then
Are
don't.
you kidding me?
Let's go.
She turned you? She turned the rest of them? Are you kidding me?
There's heavy breathing, and then in a pained voice you hear, Mary Beth was a familiar. We didn't know. She laid a small trail of blood. The vampire followed. And then, seeing this place, she went back and smuggled the vampires in. We were their first target. But vampires need slaves that can go out in the day. Not all of us were turned. Not all of us were that lucky.
The hell's going on here, Isaac?
Out of
Isaac,
character, who's Mary
Yeah.
Beth?
Mary Beth was a girl in town. You didn't really know her. She was there when you were there, but her face kind of blended in. No one of importance. Also, Isaac,
She's pretty.
you would know, and I think I mentioned this, but it's been a while. There are two things a vampire can do to a person, which is bite them slowly and turn them in. Well, besides killing them,
That's what to say.
which is the slow bite can turn them into a vampire, or a limited number of people can be turned into mind slaves, which means they retain all of their humanity, their memories, their skills, who they are. They're not undead, but they are completely powerless to disobey their master.
Drones, almost.
And you do know that vampires actually relish and love this fact that they can be forced to do things they absolutely abhor.
Great. Yay. So,
Xavier's going to simply say, if you don't want to hurt us, then let us pass, and we promise when we come back, we will kill those that have enslaved you, and you will be free. You don't have to do anything. Just let us through. That's it.
My orders are to slay any who threaten my mistress. You must swear that you do not mean her any harm. And
Okay.
his gun is shaking.
Xavier he'll light up the inside of his body armor, and he'll give a big, genuine smile and says, listen, all we want to do is get out of here alive. I promise, on everything that I hold sacred, we will not harm your mistress. Not now, never in the future. I apologize for what I said before. It was the bluff of a nervous man. But you can trust me. We fought together. I'm a man of my word. And now I would like to try to do an invoke trust
Yeah.
check.
Okay.
Because, see, Isaac might have a problem lying to his friend.
Right.
Lucas might find it boring. But Xavier will and always lie to get himself out of a jam. He does not have a problem with that. So what a 5
Wow,
out of like
bravo.
70. So I succeeded by like 65.
Oh, these guys are rolling over.
Well, I don't know about that. It could. I mean, there could be a lot of unseen modifiers there. I mean, he is transfixed by a vampire, but yeah, that's what I roll.
Okay. Kyle nods his head and he says, I believe you. It would be foolish to threaten her now.
Of course, very foolish, and we're not foolish.
Then, if you mean her no harm, my orders were specific. And then you hear one of his companions. There's about 4 of them there. One of his companions is a obviously female, maybe middle-aged, a little older, a little bit husky, but still very
Spry.
A deeper voice for a female.
Okay,
and it
husky.
says- yes, it says, "You must warn people away from here. You must stop anyone from coming. I can't stand killing again."
Okay, yeah, no, we'll make it very clear the danger that lies within here. Oh, we'll make it extremely clear to whoever will listen.
And she nods, and you can hear crying, and you'll hear Kyle say, "It's okay, Clara. It's okay." And then Kyle says, he kind of steps to the side, and he says, "Go."
And Xavier will quickly move fast
Yeah.
before they change their mind.
It's like a spider on the wall. You want to get past it quick before it does something.
As you are passing, you hear the same woman again say, "Wait, please, I can't leave this place. You can. I have a daughter. Tell her I'm dead. Please."
Will do. Let's go.
Wait, what's your daughter's name?
My daughter's name's Sarah. She works at a cruise, Flanders Paradise.
Xavier will pause for a moment, and he'll look around the shoulder at her and says, "We know exactly who she is. She's safe. We'll let her know." And he doesn't need to roll a trust check, unless you really want me to, because that is the truth.
No, she'll burst into tears with her gun still shaking. And that is that. And then Kyle says,
let's go,
"You
guys.
need to go quickly.
Get on down the road."
Isaac, save yourself. Don't go up against her. It's madness."
Isaac will not respond and keep walking through.
And that's that. They let you pass, as you pose no threat to their mistress.
Well, we're gonna free
At
them,
the
so they'll be happy.
moment.
Yeah,
at
for
the
now.
moment, for now. Okay, a little faster now. That kind of delayed
Happy
us a little
thoughts,
bit.
Happy thoughts.
Mhm.
Happy
In
thoughts.
fact, Xavier will say maybe we want to bring this up to a brisk jog or a run.
A nice trot. Yeah.
And when we get like far, far, far away, before the mercenaries, Xavier will say, look over to the father of Vine and the zealots in silence and his companions in Cypher, and he says, "Don't worry, that was just to get us out of the jam. If you want to come back and kill these vampires, we can do that too. But one thing at a time."
Yeah.
Father Vine's quiet. Cyber 6 looks to Isaac and says, "Is there nothing that can be done for them?"
I don't know, GM. Is there?
Killing their leader would probably break their.
That would-
Maybe, actually.
Maybe.
Yeah, actually, Isaac, I'm going to have you roll me this because the knowledge of this wouldn't be common because how many
What do I
people
roll?
are saved from such a thing?
I don't have
well,
any
I'm gonna
lore
say-
anything.
Rationalization, Squee.
I know.
I have
was
demons and
kidding.
monsters, actually.
Hold your horses. I'm kidding.
Nay.
No.
Yes, you have demons and monsters, and I'd like you to add 20 to it to make it easier by 20.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because of past experience. You've been trained to hunt vampires and everything, so
Yes. I succeed by
Okay.
33.
you know this. Capturing them and taking them away even thousands of miles or even dimensions away won't work. They will usually be driven insane trying to get back to their master and will do increasingly violent things to get back to their master. The only method you know of for sure that works is to slay the specific vampire that turned them. You also know, because you passed your skill check, that master vampires are rumored to be able to make no more than 2, and secondary vampires, which you have seen several of, can make no more than 1.
We're gonna have to kill a whole lot of vampires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we'll have to do is probably capture them, keep them out of the way, and then do our best to quickly kill all primary, secondary, whatever vampires, and hope that frees them, right? Because we can't do it while they're free, or they're going to try to defend them, right? We're going to have to kill them to get through them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's a plan for another day. Let's.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but attacking a vampire nest while also being pincered by a bunch of Splagorth is not my idea of fun. Let's just get the fuck out of here.
We could probably do it without the Splagorth.
Yeah,
That'd probably
if
work
the
pretty well.
Splagorth were not coming, we are essentially built to take on the vampire nest. I would love if we had more people like the 20 supposed
some
vampire hunters, or even the 200 some odd. That would be fantastic to actually take them out. But we're just a small bunch, and we have Splagorth coming, which none of our weapons, except for maybe a few, actually hurt the Splagorth.
I don't know what hurts
So.
the Splagorth in character.
Well,
I
I mean,
have no idea. I would hope bullets did.
Here's the thing. We have mostly
Magnum.
SDC stuff, is what I'm trying to say,
You
compared
do
to
know,
MDC
You
stuff.
do know chattering teeth can hurt them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Piph's like, yeah. Here's some real good.
I guess.
Right up. Meow. All right, one thing at a time. Let's continue on until we get to these mercenaries.
Okay,
Yes.
so yes, you get actually to the ladder that leads up.
Okay.
The door is still shut at the moment.
Xavier will climb the ladder and knock on the door.
You hear a knock in response, and then over the radio says, "Is that you, sweetheart?"
Yeah, well, if I was a vampire, I probably wouldn't talk in this awesome baritone voice. I'd probably be more like, "Kah!" No, seriously, please let us in. The credits are good.
Rose very quickly says, "All right, sweetheart, here's how this is going to work. You have kept your word, and I'm quite impressed. You come out slowly. Don't try any business. We won't take your weapons if you don't force us. And we will lead you out of here. And then we'll see about getting you somewhere safe."
Great.
Hear a muffled voice in the back. Not my water gun.
Who kiss not now? And as Xavier begins to open up the hatch or the door, you can all distinctly hear him mutter how much he misses being on vacation.
Silence actually says quietly to Isaac and Talavak, who's standing nearby. He says, which again, rare for him to say anything at all, but he says, "Do not mention who I am. Thraxis will deal with them."
You got it.
Okay.
And the door opens up, and you don't see anyone at the top, but the door does open up. Do you start going through?
Xavier will go first. This is his idea, and if he gets blasted, it's his own fault. So,
Good.
yeah. Xavier will have his weapon on his side. He'll show up, and he'll show his hands first to show that they're empty, and he'll say, "I'm coming up." And he'll slowly climb the ladder and get up.
You get up and you see that the 20 mercenaries are ringed around you in about a 30-foot square circle, so out of your reach. And all the guns are trained on you, but no one is firing. And Rose is standing at the center of this, not the center of the circle, but like it's a circle. There is no point.
Xavier will give a winning smile as he emerges. He says, "There's my favorite group of millionaires."
Indeed. I was just thinking, it's ironic. Simmons did say that money can cure all ails. I don't think he saw the most extreme conclusions to that.
He hasn't seen a lot of things just yet, but suffice to say, I'm glad that you've accepted our offer, and this might be the beginning of a very strange yet very, very beneficial relationship. After all, 50 million is really just a drop for us. So let's continue on, shall we?
You hear like a low whistle from somewhere in the circle. And
See, I want to keep them thinking that they want to be our friends. They don't know that we spent 80% of our funds on them. They don't know that at all.
Not a clue.
I offered that 50 million like it was nothing, really.
No, you went out the gate.
Yeah.
When the heart skipped a few beats here and that, but yeah.
Well, dude, once again,
I know.
I hope you don't mind. Like, we could have dickered around with that, but I'm like, no, let's go big or go home. Besides, we will.
No.
All we have to do is all we need is 100 credits to open up 100 savings accounts 2,000 years in the past.
No.
Then we're good.
Let's go big and go home.
Yes, there you go. All right. So now what, Squee?
All right, so the rest of you climb out of the whole group, and once the last person to leave, which would be Cyber 6, he shuts the door behind him, and he literally says that. He says, all right, now what? And Rose says, well, if the Splagorth are truly coming, as you say, it might be best to leave another exit.
Agreed. Do you know of any?
It just so happens I do.
Good.
And with that, he'll kind of make a motion, and the odd group that is his mercenary unit, the Rose, will start moving, still in a circular formation, where you're forced to either start walking or bump into the tail end of it. The opposite direction you came.
Okay. As we're moving along with the mercenaries, Xavier will mention to the group and say, I don't know about you, but I think we should take a vacation from center. As soon as we get of this level and a little bit higher up, we should try to communicate with Hart again and rendezvous with our ship.
Yep.
Yes. I couldn't
And
agree
then
more.
Xavier will look over to Cyber 6. We can start working on that payback you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking about that. Well, let's get out of here first, and then I will tell you what I think he's done and what's going to be involved.
Okay, great. And Xavier will say, I'll be waiting with bated breath. But he won't give an actual smile. He'll just give like the most sarcastic wink ever he has ever made in his entire life. His entire life has culminated to this sarcastic wink because he's never been in a situation like this. I thought the pirate base was bad. I thought escaping the goddamn Splagorth station was bad. This is the worst. This is the worst so far.
But not the last.
But hey, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not. I was gonna say, kids, don't learn any morals from this. Like the idea that throwing money at everything will solve your problems. But I guess in some situations,
I was going to say, in all honesty, with the exception of individuals of great integrity or people who have more money than that, I find it hard to believe that throwing $50 million any time would not solve a fuck ton of problems.
as do I. Hence my decisions. But you're not out of the woods yet.
I know. Oh, I know.
All right. So Rose will. It takes about an hour as you walk through level 9, in and out of dirty, tattered, abandoned buildings, and he takes you to almost the other, not the other side of the level, but the other side of this section, this hovel, to a large support pillar that goes up through the roof, and he says, it's not known by everyone, but these pillars are hollowed out inside. The Prometheans like to use it to travel undetected, but good old Petal found a few.
Well, thank goodness for good old Petal. Hey, Father, say a prayer for good old Petal as we ascend these pillars.
You hear, like, under his breath, I'd rather not.
Oh, don't worry, I was being sarcastic. Well, shall you demonstrate how it works, Petal, or is it age before beauty?
Oh, no. I'll be more than happy to. And he, like, kind of presses on the pillar, and this little data pad kind of pops. A part of it slides up to reveal a data pad. He punches something in, a door slides open, and you see what looks to be a spiral staircase. But it is not a staircase so much as an escalator. You can see that the steps are moving up on their own.
Oh, thank God. Thank
Yeah.
God, because look, I'm carrying a bag, a backpack full of medical supplies. I have so
I'ma
much
grow up.
crap on me. Having to go up several stories with all of this encumbrance, jeez.
Okay. Well, Xavier will step on the revolving escalator spiral staircase. Awesomeness.
Yep.
All right. Everyone files in. It starts moving up in a spiral pattern.
Can I just imagine during this we're all just, your typical elevator scene while everyone is just standing and staring, there's music playing in the background. Well, in this case, we're all standing and it's Lucas that's singing in the background.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're like, not now, Lucas. He's like, what, you want me to play my flute?
I didn't bring any of my flutes.
Well,
He could beatbox
you
on
said
the
you
way
were
up.
going to come prepared, Lucas. Why didn't you bring any flutes?
Lucas stops. Wait a second. When has I ever been prepared for anything?
Good
You
point.
must be thinking of that guy. Points over to Isaac.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
All the guns.
The guy holding a duffel bag full of stuff.
Yes.
Good point.
Back hurting.
As you are going up the escalator, Pedal will kind of move between his men to get back down to where you guys are as you're traveling upwards. And he says, all right, so this is a bit of an awkward moment, but what next?
Well, our friend, we're going to be parting ways a little bit. My suggestion is this. Xavier will look over to Silent and say, he's a big guy, he can take care of himself. I think, what do you think, sir? You think you can make it back home okay, alone? Or do you need some mercenary assistance?
Silence just nods.
He'll be fine. He's a big guy. Each of these particular friends that came onto the escapade, he'll point to each of the... You identify them as zealots, but
Zealots, yeah.
crusader types. He says,
Right.
if you could send one merc with each of them, it probably would be good, just to make sure they get safe and they distance themselves from us as much as possible. For Father Vine there, he can take care of himself as well. 2 mercs to bring him back to his parish, and, Xavier wouldn't know what a parish is, back to his establishment, and he should be fine. And the rest, all of us, and he points to Indigo, Cyber 6, Isaac, Talavac, Lucas, and himself, the rest of your men and us, well, we're going to rendezvous with our ship. Once we get clear of this little traveling device, we'll get in contact with our pilot and go from there. And once we're safe aboard our ship, I reckon our business is, for now, relatively closed.
Pedal nods during all this, and then he says, that sounds fair. And though it goes against my grain to say this, I suppose, as a matter of good faith, given how much you have spent on this, once you arrive at your ship, I assume then and only then you will hand over the copy of the contract?
Correct. We want to make sure everything is make sure everything is fine, just in case we have some unfortunate incidences in the future. Understand that our relationship started off very, very rocky, and it's going to take time to heal it. Specifically, the time to take for us to walk or travel from here to our ship. Then, I say it's water under the bridge.
I think that's very generous, and given that after that water passes under the bridge, I think my whole group and I are going to retire somewhere nice.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll ever have to worry about us again.
Good. I hear Flanders Paradise is just beautiful. I would recommend that. Great murder mysteries, too.
We were kind of barred from that place. And then, like, you hear, like, further down the road, fucking Jarek!
Wait, what?
Just a dude named Jarek.
Oh, okay.
He punches, like, the guy in front of him, and then you hear, like, what?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got a flashback to that drawing on Rift you fell.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
Us trying to
Oh,
contact was Jarek, when it was really just some alien.
Yep.
But seen what you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Anyway.
but not that Jarek. A different spelling type of Jarek. So
Okay. With a C and a K.
right. So as you're going up the stairs again, it's a rather long journey. Father Vine says, "I will not be needing to go back to the parish until this evil is destroyed. I will not return to my flock. I will spend my time raising an army to combat them. I know that you must hide, given who is after you, but if you decide to come back, if you plan to face this evil, I will be ready."
I will definitely keep that in mind. We're most likely going to be coming back, though I don't know what our plans are at the moment.
Or when.
But we thank you for your offer, and we might take you up on it, depending on how things work out.
Oh, go ahead.
No. Xavier's gonna be like, Father? And he's just making sure he has the
Oh, and he nods.
title correct.
He'll
Yeah.
nod. And the five, you're right, maybe Zealots is a little unkind, but the five Crusaders, one of them in particular puts a hand on Father Vine's shoulder and he says, "We've seen now the horrors that they can unleash, the slaves that they keep. We'll help you. And if we kick hard enough, we have some friends who would help."
Yay for friends. Xavier says as they still twirl upward and upward.
Friendship
humming
is
in the background.
awesome.
And as you twirl upwards and upwards, different people are conversations are happening and some talking. Silence is just standing there like a statue, his arms crossed around his chest, not moving, not like motionless.
He doesn't talk much.
Yeah.
And it takes about a good 40 minutes to get up to, well, because you get all the way up to level 3.
Oh, okay, great.
And once you get out on level 3, everyone starts going their different directions. Hang on a second. Let me go ahead and move you guys back.
I'm going to do a few actions for that.
Sure.
I would like to give each quote-unquote zealot 5,000 credits of my own personal funds.
Oh. When you go to give them the money, the guy that was talking to the father holds up his hand. He says, "No, we are already shamed by the actions of our friends. Do not shame us more. We failed you."
Okay. Don't beat yourself up there, homie. Anyway, sorry.
Since we didn't do anything, I don't know how that's possible.
Well, we were there to destroy evil, and we ran away from evil.
Yeah.
Well,
Lucas will shrug and then run through his pockets. Gum?
The Crusader will think for a second and say, "Flavor?"
Pink.
Righteous fury.
Righteous berry.
Good enough.
Yes.
That's great.
He will actually take one. And then laugh.
You can really taste
heartily.
the righteous.
He'll laugh heartily. As they go off their separate way, Lucas, you feel a surprisingly gentle tap on your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Silence is standing there with one arm still kind of folded around his chest, the other arm holding his palm upwards towards you.
Gum or 5 mil? I mean, excuse me, 1,000. Oh, millions have been thrown around so much, I don't know what I'm saying. straw.
He nods his head towards the gum.
And he'll give him, you know what, you're a big guy. And he freaking gives him a pack of gum.
He nods. And then as you give him the gum, he hands you a small radio. And then he says, uncharacteristically, he says, keep that with you and on at all times. If you do not, my employer will take it as a sign of your betrayal.
Please let him know that that is the last thing we want to do. And Xavier is going to be careful because Petal and the rest are still around. He'll say, just tell your boss that we're going to make things right.
I will do what I can.
Okay.
And then with that, he turns around and leaves.
And last but not least, you, as he like turns to the father and rubs his hands together, you get a special prize.
Father Vine raises an eyebrow.
Lucas starts binding the backpack of water and gun off of him and tries to hand it to him.
Oh, that big ass thing.
Father Vine, somewhat easily hefts it over one shoulder, and he says, "Water hurts them."
You might take some. I don't know how exactly blessing the water works. Might take some time, but pack that thing with holy water, get a kick.
Yes, the good Lord does provide with the weapons to fight evil, and a little bit of moxie can take that weapon and kick some ass.
I agree
Yes,
wholeheartedly.
Father!
And with that, he nods and he turns, and as he walks away, he says, "If you do not make it back, keep your eye on the news vid. I plan to make some waves."
I got it.
He pauses for a second, as if not understanding what you said, and then laughs and walks away. And with that, Petal says, "Well, that was all very touching, but where exactly is your ship?"
Well, let's find out, Xavier says as he gets on the frequency. Hart? You there, Hart? Come in. Please tell me you're still alive. Please tell me you're not.
She's busy. Talk to Sarah.
Actually, you hear over the radio, you hear Sarah say, "Hart's preoccupied?"
Okay. Then maybe you can help us, Sarah. Where are you? Whereabouts? Where we'd like to meet. Because, yeah. Obvious reasons.
Well, you're not going to believe this.
Okay. Well, you know what? You'd be surprised what I can believe right now, Sarah. Just lay it on us. Rip that Band-Aid right off.
Well, once you got out of level 10, we were able to start tracking your radio signal again. And the ship, Hart, I'm not sure which, said that she was going to come get her bosses.
Oh, please no. Oh, no.
Please don't have a ram into the station or wherever we are. Please don't wreck Wonderworld. So, no, Xavier, in real life, in character, Xavier will say, "So, are we supposed to just hang tight?"
No. We're in a shuttle bay.
Oh.
Quite a few of them, actually. She's been kind of flying in between ships. We've had a lot of loudspeakers talking to us that this is not proper protocol.
Oh.
I think
So
she's
follow
looking...
the sound of the speakers?
Hang on one second. And then you hear, like, Hart? They, where are we? And then there's some muffled. It's hard to tell over the radio. And then she says, "Docking Bay 94."
Okie dokie. Xavier's gonna go to like an information kiosk to see where Docking Bay 94 is.
You see, Docking Bay 94 is as it is still on. It's on level 2B, the spaceport, but it is as possibly close as you can get to the open market.
Oh, good.
It's like in the back corner. It's a fairly large port.
Great. Well, let's go. Xavier says, as he
Let's
points
go.
the direction. Yeah.
Okay. Pedal will lead you to an elevator, and this one's an actual, honest elevator, not an escalator.
As opposed to those treacherous escalators. Those
Yeah,
fucks.
damn.
All right.
Those things.
And as you get in the escalator, you all pile in, you and your escort, which is much smaller now. And you get in the elevator, you start rising up to level 2. And as you get in the elevator, many of the elevators have screens above that play advertisements or sometimes even shows if you're taking a long ride, like between levels. It's a very popular thing on Center, since the elevator rides can take about 10-15 minutes to have like 10-minute episodes of a show. And in this particular time, the screen turns on, and there's a blip and a countdown as you hear a rather smooth voice say, "Stay tuned for an important service announcement."
No. I don't want to do that. No.
And after that, it
You plugged
starts
my ear.
showing. It starts showing the mug shots that have been taken of all of you.
Wait,
Not
when did
mug
we
shots.
stay?
Not mug shots, but the pictures that
The drawings,
Onegas
the
took.
sketches, the artist sketches.
No,
No.
the
When-
pictures
yeah.
that Onegas took of you.
Oh.
Wait, did I
Oh.
consent to the picture?
Yeah,
Yes,
everybody
yeah,
did.
you did.
Everybody did.
Was I here for that?
Yeah, because remember you
Yeah, you
didn't tell
were.
him much about before he was 10 years old, and
Yeah, but I didn't know he took a picture of
at
me.
the
I
very
just
end,
told him.
he
All
said,
right, no,
okay.
that's fine. I'll believe you. It's not gonna
Hmm.
fuck anything up. I just needed a memory because I'm like, I don't know if my character would be crazy about as that happens, though, Xavier's gonna start switching faces. Motherfuckers! That's what happens when you have a magic face. Oh, but not magic face, a cyber face. Let me turn. It's like, what's really funny is that it's gonna happen really slowly because I think it takes like 2 minutes for it to click in. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna go with face. Come on, Xavier. There I am. Oh, come on. Inferno. Where's your face list? I had it in my group loot. I think I'm scanning too quick. It'll be the oh, here it is. Sato Kantaro. And I'll be like fiddling for the ID for that too. That's the Japanese engineer out of Noble Station.
Got it. So as the pictures fly past, you hear not a smooth voice this time, but a more raspy voice. "These people are criminals of the Splagorth Empire. Lord, hang on. I'm
Lord,
sorry.
Jocelyn,
stupid
or something
face.
like that. It should be Jocelyn.
It's
going on?
Jelcloth. Jacloth. Sorry, yeah,
Gesundheit.
I had to look at my notes, and even I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Lord Jacloth offers a bounty of 2 million universal credits for anyone.
Lucas
who-
goes, "Ha! 2 mil."
Each of those mercs got 2 mil. And then some.
2 million credits for information on where these men are. You are not to kill them. That is an honor reserved for us.
Yeah.
That is all. And then after that, he goes back to like the same smooth voice. If you have any information on this, do not hesitate to contact the Splagorth Embassies located on many levels.
Many levels. All the levels. We passed my Splagorth Embassy as on our way.
It gets worse and worse.
I assume though most of you are still wearing your body armor,
Yup.
so you're still wearing your helmets and such.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a face.
All right. Give me about 30 seconds to feed my cat, who has nipped my heels, to let me know I forgot.
No,
Uh,
Rude.
I should
Hey,
probably
I
do
have a
that
question.
too.
I got a quick question for you. When you move, are you gonna take those fucking roosters with you?
No,
Yeah.
I've been trying to get fucking rid of them for fucking months. I get rid of a few, and then later on, like, they just come down the road or something, and then all of a sudden I have fucking 7 or 8 roosters again.
Well, roosters. I mean, roosters, like many creatures on God's green earth, want to get laid, and if you still got hens kicking around, you're gonna get roosters.
I've been getting rid of both.
You need to.
No.
You need to go like all Looney Tunes and put them in a big pot.
Laser seems to work for Patrick. That's all I'm saying. All right. So you guys make your way to level 2, be the spaceport docking bay 94.
Yeah.
And what you see is as you enter the door into the docking bay, you see the second chance about 10 feet away from you, hovered right in front of the door, like as close to the door as physically possible, to the point where, Xavier, you would have to be concentrating like hell to be able to keep the ship where it is without bumping into a wall.
Okay.
Definitely possible. It's not like trick flying, but it's not easy. And
Xavier's gonna mutter, yeah, this is definitely against protocol.
and as you walk through, a bright spotlight from the second chance shines on you, and you hear over the intercom, "Boss."
Yeah, we're coming aboard. Maybe next time a little more on the down low and not letting everyone know what we're. Let's just get on. Xavier will turn to Petal and he'll say, "And our business is complete. Thank you very much. Enjoy your retirement and be careful. You'd be surprised how quick money can go sometimes." And Xavier's not going to just hightail it to the ship.
Case in point here. Yeah.
Yes, Dave, that was the implication.
As you're walking away,
Thank
he says basically to your retreating backs, and he says, "For what it's worth, it was never personal."
Nope. Hooray for business, Xavier yells.
Skips backwards while waving both of his hands.
Uncharacteristically, Cyber lets out a chuckle, and he shakes his head and he says, "I know I have no right to say this, but Simmons probably thought he covered every angle. He never pegged you for having more money than you could possibly imagine."
As Xavier opens up the cargo doors in order for us to enter, or maybe a side hatch or something like that, Squee, he'll open it up to let Cyber 6 go first, and he'll say, "Cyber, people keep underestimating us, from pirates to local zealots to a big population of a little planet called Cyrene." It was Cyrene, right?
Yeah, Siren.
Yeah.
Siren.
Siren. Yeah, Siren. We are just full of surprises.
Yeah. And that was after spending, like, what, 80 mil or something?
You
I think
hear
like
it and
that.
you go, "Oh, holy hell."
Yeah,
No,
we're
we
rich
got
bitches.
bank. Yeah, we got bank.
Yeah.
Well, had.
You see my rocket staff as it goes.
But see, now I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm really glad that we decided when we made money to have a communal fund and for individual funds. So
Yeah.
each of us was still able to buy stuff, right? And I still have like 13 mil because I haven't bought a damn thing, or very few things. But I don't know. Like, we can make the money up again. It's not that big of a deal.
But this is the kind of situation that proves that this is the reason why I didn't want just to split it up between everybody, to have just a communal fund, so that this kind of situation where it's an emergency, something that the entire group needs right now, can be purchased.
Yeah. Safety.
Yes.
Safety is good.
Otherwise, then there's bickering. Oh, I'll take like 20% of yours and 40% of yours. That's not fair. Like yada yada yada. It's
Like, I bought a lot of stuff, like tons of stuff. You can probably see my funds. I've almost spent 10 mil above everyone else.
Hey, dude, you get whatever you want. Okay.
I will say, I am, and that's one thing I love about being a GM. I'm constantly surprised. Never saw this coming.
Yep.
Oh boy! All right.
let's go on the ship, please.
Yeah. So the ship sets down, and the ramp down lowers. And as you go up the ramp, is Xavier still like the first one, kind of walking up the ramp?
Sure. Well, yeah, I'll be following right after Cyber 6.
All right. Hart will rush past Cyber 6 and run into Xavier, like flinging her arms around his waist, and she's crying, and she like buries her face, saying, "Boss, I thought you were dead. I thought I'd never see you again."
Yeah. And then Xavier's gonna give like a casual pat on the back of her head as he like is slowly moving towards the pilot.
Dragging her.
No, I'm not dragging her. Just slow little inches each way as he pats her head. He goes, "That's okay. I thought the same thing too. But we're here now. We're not out of Shit Creek, but we're close." Go say hi to Lucas. He missed you too.
She nods, but she has been kind of beaten to the stroke as Sarah's run down and hugged Lucas, and she's
Lucas and Sarah.
She's not a ball of tears, but she hugs Lucas.
Lucas is.
And then she hugs Lucas, and then kind of like pushes back and smacks you on the helmet, saying, "Idiot! I was worried." Ow!
Yeah, don't do that.
That was the idiot.
And she goes, "We should go. The Splagorth have been showing your faces on every channel."
But they haven't seen, as he like mutters his spell, changes like 4 different features on his face. This face, as he pulls off the thing, big ears. Basically, he's kind of like the what was that Mad TV character?
Oh God, Newman.
Stuart?
Alfred E. Newman.
Oh.
The mascot.
Yeah, the mascot of Mad TV.
Oh, okay.
She like gives a start, and then she's like, as you walk up the gangplank, she's like, "All right, I don't want to sound insensitive, but is this the real face, or?"
Hugo, it's as real as you want it to be, as he gives her a wink.
She shakes her head. No, I don't want it
it's
to
not even close to real.
Oh, thank God. And with that, Isaac, as you enter the ship, you see Quicksilver standing to the side, and he's like, "Oh, good. I was worried. I mean, I would have come, but you ordered me to stay here, and I didn't know where you were."
Yeah, you wouldn't have liked down there anyways. There was a ladder.
He nods and stamps the ground. Yeah.
Thanks for staying by and making sure that Hart and Sarah is safe. Okay.
His head goes up. Yep, I did. I kept them safe. And he kind of gives you like a sidelong glance.
Isaac just smiles and nods.
As Xavier makes it to the cockpit, Cyber 6 comes into the cockpit as well, and he says, "Any idea where to go?"
So he's going to look over to Cyber 6 and say, "I figured now is a good time for you to postulate your plan on what you think that fucker Simmons and the rest of those traders are doing right now.
Yes. Well, how about this? We should probably get out of the bay before some idiot sees us, but we might not want to go too far. Maybe fly out of the city and hide somewhere among the terrain, because we may be coming back sooner than you would like.
Yeah, that's fine. The good news is that the Splagorth don't know about our ship just yet. So as long as we don't show our faces between now and then, we should be all right. Although I'm okay because Xavier's still pointing at his Asian guy. Actually, at this point, he'll probably switch it back to his actual face, not his Phil Buckley smuggler face or his the shark thing, like his real face. Because why not? We're all really real here now. And he'll say, yeah, sounds like a fine enough plan.
And Cyber 6, like, it's kind of his eyes narrow, but he says, actually, if I remember correctly, at least Simmons and Onegas saw your ship, and it does stand out a little. I think it's best to assume the Splagorth at least have a description.
Xavier's gonna take 3 deep breaths. I hate the Splagorth almost as much. No, I do hate the Splagorth more than Cyrene. But Cyrene at least didn't have. All right. Yeah, we'll hide. Now, the planet, is the planet also called Center?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
Which is kind of weird. I always thought that was weird too. So the planet, to give you a little heads up, the planet is very...
Well, there's New York, New York. There can be Center.
That's true. It's very rocky and barren. The Prometheans live outside of Center, but they're the only ones that live outside of Center. They don't typically allow ships beyond Center. However, ships do fly to and from Center to get to space all the time, and it's not unheard of at all for, and even you would know this with your smuggling career, for ships to make rendezvous in secret locations, especially ships who have stealth drives and things like that. So the Prometheans definitely frown upon such things, but it's one of those, if it happens once in a while and you're not causing trouble, we're not going to waste the resources to come after you, as far as Xavier has experienced.
Okay. Welp. Can I take the ship out of the city, but still on the planet? Try to find some place on there in which to lie low. I mean, we still have all that awesome camouflage stuff that we got, so preferably terrain that kind of matches the brownish gold of Siren.
Sure.
If not, if there isn't one, no big deal.
No, actually, it wouldn't be that hard. So you could exit the bay. You had already paid for your storage, so you're good to go. You'd call in clearance; they would give it to you. And then instead of flying upwards towards the orbiting stations above, you could basically pick a direction. And Center is a very rocky, barren world. You do see some prairies, some grasslands. If you actually look on the map outside of Center, you'll kind of see vague impressions of what Center looks like. It is not very populated. The Prometheans are not a very big species, so there are thousands upon thousands of miles of just barren, rocky land.
Perfect.
There's plenty of canyons and mountains and things.
Perfect.
Like that.
Well, let's go with a canyon. Good old-fashioned canyon.
Yes, David?
Yeah. Is it okay if I make a camouflage skill check to see if I can find something better?
Sure.
Okay. I just want to try it out.
Yeah, no, by all means.
Yeah, okay.
To just kind of like say, okay, the shade of the ship, the shade of the land, maybe this
Right.
area or that area. Okay, sure, go ahead.
Okay, here we go. And wait a minute, wait. I think I did it. Yes, by 3, but I did it.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So Xavier's already thinking a canyon. And as you're flying around Talavac, you would notice that there is a canyon that it is basically, you see down in the canyon there is a low level of clouds, possibly fog that has risen up perhaps from a river or a jungle or some other type of vegetation that it almost matches the sky blue color of the whole of the ship. So if
Okay.
you set the ship down there, it would, if someone were to view it from above, you're fairly confident that it would, the mist or fog or thin cloud would help to break up the outline of the ship.
All right. I just pat you on the shoulder, Xavier, and just point at the screen. Right there. Right there would be a good spot. Right there.
Okie dokie. I'll land the ship in that
Alright.
area. And then once we're parked, Xavier will get up from the pilot's seat and go to where pretty much everyone else is congregating and ask, all right, well, we're out of the frying pan for now. Now is this a good time, Cyber 6?
Yes, now's a good time. Understand, first and foremost, you have my deepest apologies. I should have seen this coming, but
We all should have seen it coming, frankly.
he shakes his head and he says, I was their leader. But hitting ourselves isn't going to fix the issue.
Nope.
Focusing on Simmons and what I know, I was going over it with Indigo. It makes sense they tried to eliminate her, especially if they were trying to make deals with the Splagorth given their past. But if I were Simmons, and if I know Simmons, he's going to take that orb and jump through the wormhole with the ship to the Eye of Zeberon, which is the temporal gate that we use. It allows us to travel through time. From there, he'll never go back to Zeberon. If he does, a lot of terminology I'm going to be throwing at you. Zeberon is our headquarters, our home. If he goes there, we all have minute recording devices in our bodies that record many of the things we do. If he gets too close to Zeberon, they will download into Zeberon's databanks and they will instantly know what he's done and track him.
But the only way he can get back into his own time is to go through this same hole you said, which is also called Zeberon.
Well, the Eye of Zeberon, yes.
Yeah,
It's a giant black hole with ley lines lacing it. Yes, he would go through it, but as long as he doesn't get too close to the city of Zeberon, he'd be fine. Yeah. And from there, he sell the orb to someone. Probably already had a buyer lined up if I know him.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was the Splagorth.
He nods. That would make sense. And then take his obscene fortune, and knowing that they're going to have Corsairs or someone go after them, my guess is they would split in different directions, part ways, use a Splagorth temporal gate to go pretty much anywhere in space and time.
Wait, hold up a second. Don't you need a special ship in order to do that? Like your ship?
No.
No?
A temporal gate can be traveled through with any ship. Our ship is better at it, yes, but the problem is finding a temporal gate in the first place. That's why they're so powerful, so special. Before they were created, traveling through a rift is, well, you all should know, shoddy and dangerous unless you do something like the gate world here in Center. A temporal gate acts like one of those. Anyone can go through it, but they're very strictly controlled. Unfortunately,
finish off.
Unfortunately, you'll recall that I mentioned that the Splagorth and the Corsairs once went to war.
Yeah, I remember that at when we were first meeting.
We lost the war, and as part of the treaty, we had to cede over some of the temporal gates to Splagorth control. And they basically treat it like a criminal smuggler's paradise. If you've got the credits, you can use it, and Simmons will have the credits. They will know that people will hunt them. If not us, which we can hope that they think we're dead, someone would hunt them. And they'll probably think that if they travel to different dimensions or time, they're untraceable.
So I got a couple questions. The first, what's sticking out of my mind, because we were talking about ships and being able to travel through there. Your ship, it's alive, isn't it?
It is.
So is it going to truck with all this Splagorth nonsense, or do you think it turned traitor on you too?
The ship probably doesn't understand what's going on. Think of it like a fond pet. It is alive,
Oh, it's
it is
not that
aware,
intelligent.
but it is not sentient.
Okay, well, so much for that.
Mm.
Okay, here's the other thing too. I'm assuming you're going to want to go back through your Eye of Zebron to your main thing, because even though Simmons and the rest of those bastards aren't going to get close enough for their data to get uploaded, you're going to tell them, right? Which means you're going to send Corsairs against them, right?
Well, yes. I'm not sure what happens if a Corsair goes rogue. I've never heard of it happening before, but I guarantee that the council will want to do something, and I have every intention on being that something.
Okay. So you're that something. What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to go in time with you? I mean, you are going to need a ship to get through this gate for you and Indigo. Are we going through time or what?
That is what I wanted to talk to you about.
Okay.
I'm getting closer to hear this.
I thought that's what the whole background history and all of that was for, so that we could.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes. The idea originally was if things got too hot here, we could relocate you to another place in time.
Yeah.
Now things have changed a bit. I am assuming that you have a vested interest in finding this group.
Oh yeah.
And as Xavier pointed
Well, considering
out,
you can't even come close to center, not only because of the Splagorth, because of a little man named Thraxis is a little pissed off at us. Yeah, it's either fix this, or we fuck off to a corner of the galaxy and never come back. And I like the luxuries of center and other places of civilized space, even with the war.
Mm-hmm. Also, you have heard of one person going rogue, if you recall correctly.
Yeah. His
yes,
old man.
I suppose that's true. Though, I'll be honest with you, I never considered it a rogue. I considered it a tragic account, but you have a point.
And Xavier's going to look at Isaac and say, wouldn't it be great if we could hunt him down, because what better way to find a rogue than find another rogue?
I
mean,
assume
he would know
right?
exactly what to do.
I assume the council would eventually send someone after him. Maybe we can... Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but
No.
here's what I propose. You said it yourselves. People underestimate you, and as I've learned, you are some of the most resourceful people I have ever met. And quite honestly, if I'm going to find these traitors, I'd want your help to do it. Indigo agrees, and Indigo nods.
Okay, all right. So my question is what time are you actually from? Are you from the future or from the past? And more importantly, couldn't we just go back in time and prevent Simmons and the rest of them from ever fucking taking the orb in the first place, now that we know that what happens? I mean, I'm sure if he killed us, there'd be no way for us to stop him, right? But couldn't we just tell the council what we need, and then we go back in time and prevent him from doing what he's going to do?
Unfortunately, there's a complication with that.
Of course.
It is
Xavier says, of course.
Of
I don't
course.
know shit about time travel. I've
He
just
says-
seen it in VidFlix.
He says, of course, it's not impossible. We would have to find an outlawed temporal gate to do it, however. The Corsair Council does not let anyone return to their own past the chances of running into yourself is too high, and we're not sure what would happen.
Oh. Xavier says, yeah, I'm not sure how I would react seeing me again and all this other shit. Okay, you do have a point. Xavier concedes.
He nods. He says, there are occasions where you can come back into your future timeline, say a year or two after you've left, but that's because there's no chance of running into yourself. But there is another method. Simmons may think they're untraceable, but I am not completely trusting. Every member of my unit has part of their rec flowing through my veins, and those recs that are calibrated to their DNA signature might help lead us to them.
Okay.
But it would take time.
All right.
So you're
Xavier
saying...
No, go ahead.
You're saying you have a tracking device in every single one of them that is linked to you.
And I just say it like ironically, like time.
Imagine a tracking device, yes, but a tracking device that can only be used by certain species called the Avius. And even if it is successful, it could give us a general location and a general time.
Not an exact ping. Okay.
No.
All right. Here's one last thing, though, Cyber, that we're thinking about. Okay, so I understand if we go to the council and say, hey, this is what happened. They can't send us back because we might run into ourselves. But what would stop them from sending another group of Corsairs to stop Simmons? Wouldn't that work, too? Then there's absolutely no chance of them interfering, running into themselves. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to hunt these fucker down myself, but I think we should shore up all possibilities. Although, wait a second. Xavier pauses for a moment as he paces back and forth. If we send those other Corsairs back and they succeed, then what we did wouldn't be necessary, and then we wouldn't exist anymore, or we exist in a different timeline?
Xavier.
How would that work?
Xavier.
Yeah.
You remember the main reason why we came here is...
Actually, I don't. Xavier says a lot has happened.
The main reason why we even paired up with the Corsairs was that something happened and the timelines were going to, and he's going to air quotes, diverge. We figured it was probably the vampires. If something like that were to happen, timelines would again fracture. Right?
Oh, and the fracturing causes everything to be destroyed. Okay.
Our best bet would be to track them all down because they're Corsairs. They know that one of the biggest ways to get found out is to create a big fuss wherever they go. Because if they split a timeline, any Corsair could be able to track them. So they're going to do their best to be unnoticed, which means if we can find them and get them, there's very little chance of messing with the timelines. They'll do that job for us. There is 2 catches.
All right.
Catch number 1. We'll have to convince the council to let you. It is not unheard of for Corsairs to bring back recruits. People that they think would make good Corsairs. Yes. But if you are going to do official Corsair business, as far as I know, you will have to go through their academy.
What if we don't want to do official business, but we still want to work with them?
I have never sought that option before. But whatever the option is, we must go before the council to find that answer.
Okay, what's the other catch?
Pick me.
Cyber looks at Lucas.
Pick me. I think I've been paying attention. Pick me.
Go ahead.
So you don't have your ship. How are we even going to get there?
That is the catch. Any ship can travel through a temporal gate, but to open a temporal gate from the other side, you need an AEG, which our ship doesn't have. There are, if you recall, another group of people who control temporal gates and might be able to
Oh, Jesus
might
Christ.
have an AAG.
How are we supposed to do that?
That's the part you're not going to like. If there is an AAG to be found, we're actually not that far from it.
How big is this AEG?
Oh, he holds his hands about 2 feet by 2 feet. Once it's installed in a ship, it's hardly noticeable.
Can we figure out where they're docked?
How much does it weigh?
Where? Who's docked?
The goddamn Splagorth.
No,
No.
well, the Splagorth are everywhere. We first have to find one of their vessels that has one of these AEGs, or where they store them.
More
And
likely,
we're going to have to take them.
more likely, we would have to find a way into level 3A, their trading post.
Oh, Jesus.
After all, they do claim that anything can be bought there for a price.
And we just lost most of our money.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I was bullshitting the mercenaries when I said we all have funds. I just said that so they didn't think that, hey, if we turn them in now, that we still get to keep the money. I wanted them to keep thinking to the future that they want to be our friends. But yeah, we're not completely broke, but we don't have a lot of fuck you money anymore.
Isaac is going to pull up his holo computer, type in a few things, and say, well, if we take mine into account as well, that is roughly 7.1 mil.
Well, and I got 13 in my
8.1.
account, so that's 20.
Like,
Yeah.
slowly, as you guys are doing this, Cyber 6, like, raises a hand.
Yeah.
That might not be necessary. See, our treaty is fairly rock solid. The Splagorth would rather not start a war with us again either, and AEGs are illegal. If we can find one, I might be able to raise a big enough stink to get it for free, considering that I am an official Corsair.
So then what do we do?
Yeah, what do we do?
We have to find it.
Not only that, but if that idea doesn't work, I might need your
Have
help.
to take it. Okay, so how do people... You... Cyber. I'm just gonna say... See, we'll talk about the whole Corsair thing later. Cyber, you were with us. With the exception of myself, all of our faces are plastered and they're looking for us. There is millions of dollars of bounties on our heads. I understand nothing's impossible, but we're... Wait. We're gonna just slump down in a nearby chair. Now I miss Cyrene.
Adventure!
You know,
Give
it
me
was going
one
to happen
second.
eventually.
Give me 1 second. I have to go pee really bad, but I'll be back.
I hate
Where's your sense of adventure.
I mean, seriously, like, I could... Here's the first... The funny thing is that Splagorth aren't really crazy about humans to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, sure, I can show up as a human or whatever, right? And they'll be like, all right, well, this is weird, but whatever. Like I said, like, I have the changey facey. Lucas has magic, but they can probably sense the magic, right?
Yeah.
And it
I
doesn't
can
last for
mask
super
it.
long. Oh, you can?
Yeah, ish.
Oh. Ish.
It's basically like they can sense magic, but I can also like mask how much magic they can sense.
Should we break out the ninja costume?
I like the ninja costume.
Oh my god.
Still got mine.
I still have mine. But they're good. We could, but they're gonna. If one of us looks at our faces, then it's gonna be pretty clear. Just four fucking ninjas walking around.
What am I supposed to do?
I don't know.
I don't have a ninja
You should have
costume.
bought a ninja outfit, Mister. I want to be a badass.
But I want,
Now
it, to
look
be,
what
I
you
want
were
it to be edgy.
Yeah, you want to be an edgelord, but no.
Damn it.
Ninjas are edgelord. Oh.
How do you feel about turning into a hand puppet?
I'm sorry, what?
A sentence I did not predict.
I have never thought about that in my life. I have never.
Now,
You can turn him into a hand puppet?
yes. Or doll, or normal puppet.
Oh my god, if you can
Or
cowboy
marionette.
puppet.
I don't know how comfortable
What kind
I
of
am
one
with
would you
this.
like? Now I think about it, I don't want to stick my hand in you.
Yeah, please
No.
don't.
So marionette then?
I mean, we're friends, but please, no.
Mannequin? Mannequin?
Wait.
Is a marionette
what are you even
one?
suggesting? What
A marionette is
kinda
the one
one's
with the
got
strings.
and
Yeah. But can you turn Isaac into a marionette?
Yeah, or a doll.
Yeah, marionette.
Okay. All right then. I can do that.
Wait, you can turn... For how long?
Oh, let's see. I think the last one was 4 hours.
It's not awful.
I'm just trying to figure out how this would work.
See, all we have to do is just identify this thing first.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't make Isaac into a hand puppet and
he goes,
Give
or
him to,
you
like,
can
a
be.
Power Lord.
He starts rummaging through his bags. He goes, or you can be one of these, and he puts out like a really creepy ventriloquist dummy.
Oh my god. Wait, and then Xavier's gonna look at it and be like, Lucas, is that somebody? Did you just buy it?
This is Dilbert.
Okay, but was Dilbert a real person like us that you magicked into that? Or was Dilbert built that way?
No, I never asked, but I didn't change this one. No.
Oh.
So it still could be somebody.
Xavier opens up his mouth a few times, his mind a flurry of follow-up questions, but realizing that this is not going to solve anything right now.
No.
But you know, the best thing about Lucas is that if you ask him a question, he answers it. It just it's like Lucas's mouth is like a hydra. Every answer just wants you to ask more questions.
And they don't stop.
I know, you cut down one head, two sprout in its place.
You answer one question, two more come up.
Yep. Okay. So we need some... Okay, but in all honesty... Okay, you know what? We might be looking at this from too close. All right? Here's my proposition. We just need to locate where one of these AEGs are, right? We're thinking we have to infiltrate and get in the Spligorth trading post. Sure. That's an option. But how about this? Center is filled with people, including a shady element. Maybe there are people who also don't like the Spligorth or deal with the Spligorth or whatever, right? We find a person as our representative. We befriend them. We pay them well. We don't let them know who we are, right? So then we use our disguise to approach this third party. You know what I mean? So they can't be like, hey, those are the guys who are worth 2 million credits, right? Because it'll be easier to fool one guy with a disguise than an entire trading post with a disguise, right? We befriend him, we pay him well, we make sure his goals line up with our O's, and then he or she enters the trading post. They poke around, they ask some questions, and they would be able to find this AEG. Now, if we didn't piss off Thraxis, I'm sure he could have been our go-to guy, but that bridge is closed and burned, and oh god, it's still on fire. But that's not to say there still aren't a bunch of other people on center that could do this for us. You know what I mean? And then our efforts are just convincing one person, one or two people, rather than having to, risk our asses significantly into, because magic can disappear or they can sense it, right? Or I could say something and fuck things up, right? It's it would have the same effect, but the risk would be less. Know what I mean?
Mhm.
Jelly bean? Now, I'm open to other ideas too, but I want to put that forward. You know what I mean? Sometimes a third party is not a bad thing.
That'd be true. But I don't like putting trust into other people at the moment.
Sure.
Though I am putting a lot of trust in, and he looks over to
Cyber 6.
Cyber 6.
Yeah, I know this could all still just be a really long con.
Cyber
But
6
probably not.
eyes widen.
Xavier gives a smirk. He's like, come on, don't be ridiculous. I'm just joking.
Or is he?
And he turns back to the rest of the group and winks.
You hear a very quiet voice come from Indigo. There might be other options.
As
we're all
in?
ears.
You see her, she's very closed in, like she's hugging herself and she's looking at the table and she says, there are other Splagorth trading posts. And, well, slaves are hardly noticed if they're held by a slave owner.
Oh, jeez.
If you're suggesting we masquerade, or some of us masquerades as slaves, here's the thing, though. Wait, I would like to do, Squee, I would like to do a Galaxy lore check, because Inferno knows a few things, but I don't want to bleed that into character metagaming knowledge.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let me roll it, and I'll tell you how much I succeed or fail by, and then I'll ask you, the DM, the questions if my character would know this. Sound
Okay.
fair?
Perfect.
All right, so Galactic Alien. Wow, my lore's really good for that now. It would be lore Galactic Alien, right?
Yes, it would be. Yeah.
Sweet. Forgot how high level we are. Oh no!
Oh,
no.
All right, so I fail by 27. So let me still ask the questions, because
Sure,
it still
sure.
might be super general knowledge that I would know. Okay, so does my character know that humans are practically slaves to the Splagorth, right? So they wouldn't trust. It's almost like, if you pardon the historical thing, but like a black slave owner. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sure, they existed, but they were extremely rare, and it was extremely suspicious, right?
Correct. Yes.
So, would my character know that humans don't typically own slaves to sell at the Splagorth?
Yeah,
market?
despite the fail in the roll, I would say that is not only really common knowledge, but to a smuggler who deals with all sorts.
Mm-hmm.
And while I don't know if Xavier's ever dealt in slaves or not, he certainly has run it in crowds that might have.
Sure, you hear stories about that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, humans generally don't make deals with Splagorth.
Okay, so then that's all I need to know. So
Okay.
Xavier will say, okay, and even if we went along with that, Indigo, humans don't deal with Splagorth. And they certainly don't sell other slaves to the Splagorth. So unless there's a caveat to that plan.
Almost as a whisper, she's still very uncomfortable. She says, Cyber 6 isn't human.
Yeah, Cyber 6 isn't human, but is he but he himself said he was a recognizable Corsair. Of course, I guess he could always masquerade as a fallen one.
Well, Cyber 6 says, I'm not recognizable. I was simply inferring that I could announce myself.
Use the pedigree. I see.
And you can modify yourself to look different.
He looks at Indigo uncomfortably, and then he says, Indigo she was a slave for many years to the Splagorth, so if anyone knows about them.
No.
And he puts a hand on her shoulder.
Yeah,
You
I
see the
understand.
ventriloquist dummy's mouth open. Surprise.
Oh my god.
Guys, Xavier's going to say, he'll be like, listen, I have a few values, and one of them is freedom, even if it's temporary. In fact, we might have started a bit of a war because we didn't want to be slaves. Let's put that at the very bottom of our possible. With all due respect, I think finding and befriending someone else to go into the Splagorth market is far less risky than something like that.
Mhm.
And I don't see how it could be any more effective.
At those words in like Talavac's agreement, Indigo actually looks a little relieved.
Yeah. All right. Any other ideas, though, guys?
I can dress up as Splagorth. I got
Oh,
the perfect
no.
costume.
No,
Nah.
you can't seduce us.
Please, not that abomination again.
Splagorth. Oh my God. Piph,
Well,
I
the
love
hardest
you
part
so
about
much.
the hardest part about this plan initiated is that no one's ever seen the Splorgoth trading post. So
No, none of us have.
it's hard to make a plan when you don't know what you're going to see. You know.
Well, the first step then is getting intel, right? Which means we have to step in and survey it ourselves or hire someone else to do it or procure the information through other means.
Hmm.
Like I said, every civilization has an underground and Center has an underground. And I don't mean the place that we just escaped from. I meant a more shadier element where I got things like these, and he'll display his fake IDs.
What about a concealed camera? Maybe hook it to something or someone there, and
Like planted on them?
yeah,
And
and
for
then
them to come back and retrieve it?
I was thinking more like a live feed
Okay.
from
That's
the
not
inside.
that's not a half bad idea, but we're one or some of us are gonna have to lurk, or the person who's at least gonna plant the camera is gonna have to lurk outside the trading post or follow someone to know that they're going into the trading post, and that itself could expose them too. Of course, this plan is not going to go on without some sort of risk. That's for
Well, then
damn
that's
sure.
the reason why I volunteer myself to go in.
Let's just kill. Let's put that in with the plans. We're still formulating ideas here. We do this from time to time, Xavier says as he looks over to Indigo and Cyber 6 is we have a very communal way of coming up with plans. We each spitball an idea and then sure enough, boom, eureka, and we come up with something. It's a slightly involved process, but we do have a little bit of time.
Cyber 6 nods. I'm all for it.
Okay.
Maybe someone outside the trading post and go in without actually having to go in.
Lucas,
Yes.
you hear
Yes,
beeping.
God.
You hear a beeping sound.
If God, it's me, Lucas. Oh God, is this?
Oh yeah, it's what's his face? Thraxis. He holds up. I don't even. What does it look like? A phone?
It looks like a small, high-tech, shiny radio. And when I say small, do you remember like the early 2000s cell phones when they were trying to make things as small as possible?
Sure did.
Yeah,
A little
like
silver,
that size.
Silver number.
He holds it, probably upside down to his face. Yellow.
You answered. That's a good start. Where?
Does it sound like Thraxis?
Yes, it does.
Ah.
It would seem that we have much to discuss.
All right.
Now, I'm assuming only Lucas can hear this, right?
No, actually, it's like a walkie-talkie. So
Oh boy. Okay, Xavier is like standing straight up, and you'll hear him say, "Yeah, that's definitely a diplomatic way of saying that. It sounds like you have a lot on your mind, and we have a lot of questions you want to answer, so start asking away.
There's a pause. Where is my orb?
Well,
Big
Xavier pauses.
stinky ape took it.
Xavier quickly rectifies, and he'll say, "It's exactly where you think it is, in the possession of Simmons, the man I brought to your office, and he convinced you he was a Corsair. He is, or I guess you could say was, a Corsair, but he has gone rogue. We, in fact, while you were calling us, were just hatching a plan in which to track down this fucker and not only get a little bit of payback, but return the orb to you so you don't murder us."
Yeah, we're kind of what was that? We actually think about survival. That's the one. Oh shit, I said it wrong.
It's okay, you got the idea, Lucas.
If this is true, then what you're telling me is that my orb is in the future.
If not now, very soon, yes. There might be a chance we're able to intercept them, but we need to also procure some way of time travel.
I have spoken with Silence, and his
good.
word is the only thing that's keeping me from ordering hits on all of you. I am willing to believe that you were incompetent instead of malintent.
Okay, great. All right.
But I still hold you responsible for my orb.
Uh-huh.
And I've done my homework. After you left, I looked up your little pals, the Corsairs. It turns out that they're not well known, but if you are as diligent and have as long of reach as I do, you can learn quite a lot. Your friends, Cyber 6, a Corsair based out of the year PA 567, I believe.
Sure, okay.
And Cyber 6 nods with his eyes widening a little bit.
Okay, yeah. Looks like you hit a
He
nerve
can't
there.
see
Keep
you.
going.
You have to respond in yes or it's more of a vocal thing.
He says yes.
I thought so. So here's my one-time offer. I understand that time jumping is a strange business, but I imagine that Cyber 6 and that sweet little thing with him probably have friends or family there.
Oh.
In 3 years after 578, so let's say 581, I will send a messenger to, what is this place? Zeberon? If you are not waiting for him with my orb, that messenger will have unpleasant consequences. Do I make myself very clear?
God, is he saying
Yes.
he's giving us 3 years to find the orb?
Basically. He's saying, because I mean, to him, it's all time. He could be sending this guy tomorrow, but he's going to send him 3 years past where Cyber 6 operates.
Yeah. So like what, 300 years in the future plus 3 years.
5-ish hundred years in the future, yeah.
Yeah. Plus another 3 years.
So basically, let me put it this way. So basically, since time's kind of loopy and jumpy, he's going to give you basically 3 years. To him, it could be however long he chooses. But at the end of that 3 years, if the orb is not waiting for his messenger, yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Time travel hurts my brain.
Yes, it
But
does.
Xavier nods. He says, "We understand. In fact, that's extremely it's a great
Complicated?
time frame in order for it to happen. It's not going to be easy, but it's the least we can do to make this right.
See that you do. And then the radio switches off.
And or die trying, Xavier says with a sigh. Thinking, what was it? Was it like a week and a half ago? No, it was like
It was a
less
few
than a
days
week
ago.
ago.
Yeah, like 4 days
I
ago.
was sitting on a beach, drinking until I couldn't drink anymore, hitting on women, gambling. Oh, they love me there. Oh, they love me there. And now I'm here with all of you. All right.
See Lucas,
No time for
like,
rage.
chattering with his dummy.
Yes. Okay, while you're doing that, you can see Xavier just staring at the most hateful glance your way as this thought process is going through his head. Like, 4 days ago, I was on a beach, and now I'm looking at Luke. I'm looking at this with this situation.
Cyber 6 will actually get up and go over towards Lucas and hold a hand out towards the radio. Can I destroy that?
The radio?
He
Yes.
told us not to.
Yeah, he said always keep it on.
Well, until
Contact
he...
us.
Yes, fair point. What I want to say, I want to be sure he can't hear.
Always
I'll be in the other room. Bye.
Once Isaac leaves, Cyber 6 says,
Isaac? You mean Lucas?
I'm sorry, Lucas, sorry,
There you
thank
go.
you. Cyber 6 says, I doubt he would be able to actually... My concern would not be for my friends, but a man that powerful, if he decided to, and he seems very determined, he could cause quite a stir on Zeberon. If we can't find the orb, we can deal with it. But if we can find the orb, that would probably save us quite a headache.
Claw the asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not to mention that you'd be able to return here again.
And you despite all this, I kind of like Thraxus now, Sager admits. I mean, I wouldn't trust him as far as I can throw him, and he's a pretty big guy. I'm not a very strong fellow. But we had a good rapport before everything blew up in our face. So maybe there's a chance to salvage that. Maybe not. Either way, I kind of feel like I owe it to him, considering I personally talked him into this.
Cyber 6 will nod. Well, one more reason then.
Alright, well,
So
it's
now
been
we're...
pretty fucking hectic. How about we just take a few hours for us to rest our eyes? Maybe we come back with a fresh perspective on how to approach this whole AE. What's it called? AED?
AAG.
AAG acquisition.
Yeah.
And actually, I know it's a little bit short, but that's a really good place to stop the session. Give you
Yeah.
guys a week to kind of
Yeah,
mull
my
over your
brain,
options.
my brain is oozing out of my ears after all this. Because
Alright.
that was a lot to take in.
Mm-hmm.
Time.
So we'll go ahead and end the session there.
Yeah. Thanks you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well,
How's the gang gonna get out of this?